So first we'll start with actually solving it. And then I want to kind of talk through the estimation to make sure we're super solid there. I feel like we've gotten really comfortable with adding decimals because we've realized it's very similar to just adding whole numbers, right? But the estimating gets a little bit trickier. So I'm going to kind of do this backwards. Let's solve it first. And then I want to kind of talk through the estimation. So I want to make sure we can kind of get both points covered here, but I want to start with our comfort zone. So number 22, I want you to write this one in your notebook. And I want you, I'm going to give you about a minute or so to try to solve it on your own before we talk as a class. And I want you to be able to kind of think about how you'd explain your thinking, because I want to have someone teach the class. So go ahead and write 22 in your notebook and solve, and then hopefully we have someone who feels confident enough to teach us afterwards, okay?
I got the answer. I did too.
Okay, just a second. Let's give everyone just 1 minute. All right, so I love the fact that we are feeling so quick and ready to solve these, but I'm wondering, is there anyone that could actually explain it? We've gotten so good at just going through the numbers and saying really quick this, that, and the other, but I want us to really be able to actually explain our thinking. So this might, and you will have to do this today. So something like, first, I did this, and the really key word I'm looking for, you guys, and you're explaining, I went back and looked at our constructed responses. The key word in explaining your math thinking is because. So I don't want you to say, if we're looking at number 22, go to your hundredths place. I don't want you to say, okay, well, I borrowed from the 2 and it became a 15. So 15 minus 9 is 6. I want us to say something like, well, I went and borrowed from the 2 because I know that I can't do 5 thousandths minus 9 thousandths. So I carried over a group of 10. Something like that. So really working on place value, math vocab, and using the word because. Anytime it asks you to explain your thinking, I don't want to know just how you did it. I want to know why you did it that way. So is there anyone that thinks they can model their thinking for us on number 22 using some because words?
I can.
Okay. So will you walk us through what you did and give us a few becauses along the way?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So I borrowed from 17 because I know that 2 can go into 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can, but like.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. And then I took 1 away from the 12 because I know 5 can't go into 9.
Okay, so hold on.
So I made.
So here, let's do this. So we said we borrowed from the 7, and then the only thing I would say is like in the 1's place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Becomes a 6. Could you explain to me why? So the 2 becomes a 12 because. That's a hard one. Why does it become a 12? And if you can't do it, feel free to phone a friend and have someone else step in and help. Who could explain to me, and Amelia, I'll come back to you, okay? Who could explain to me why the 2 becomes a 12?
The 2 becomes a 12 because when you turn 7 into a 6, it lost a bit of its value. So then that value gets transferred to the one behind it. So then, because it's 10 tenths.
That's what I was looking for already. 10 tenths makes 1 whole, right?
Yeah.
So when I take away from that 7, it becomes a 6. That's 6, so that's only 1 whole that I took away, but that 1 whole is 10 tenths because it takes 10 tenths to make a whole. So my 2 tenths becomes 12 tenths.
12 tenths because it gained 10 more tenths.
Thank you. All right, Ridian, I'm going to put you on pause for a minute, and I want Millie to see if she can finish the problem, okay? Chili Millie, what do I do now?
Now you take 1 away from the 12 because I know that 5 can't go into 9.
Goodness.
And now what's my 5 become?
15.
And could you try to kind of summarize what Ridian was saying? My 5 becomes a 15 because, why?
Because
what is this place value over here that we just borrowed from?
10. So that's why.
6, 10. I'm taking away a tenth, which is 10 hundredths. So good, Amelia. Okay, now what do we do?
Now we
Looks like you're all set up. So do you want to subtract starting in your hundredths place now?
uh
Do you see my screen?
yeah,
So let's do 15 minus 9.
which is 6,
Yes, ma'am.
and 11 take away 7 is 4,
Yes.
and 6
Drop that
take away,
Right?
oh yeah, and then 6 take away 1 is 5, of course, and the 2 ones just equals 0, so you don't have to put anything.
Good.
And
I'm
then
glad you said you don't have to put anything.
And then
I would
just
never see zero tens and $5, right? That would make no sense. Good. Thank you. Let's do one more practice round on an addition problem, and then we're going to talk about some word problems, okay? Let's have you guys practice number 27 in your notebook really quick, okay? So let's put us all on pause for just a quick second. You guys take a minute, get ready to explain yourself, okay? Do you guys all have this one?
The answer.
Okay. Do you all have it written down in your notebook?
Yeah.
Who can walk us through number 27, not just solving, but also explaining your thinking? Who thinks they can do that?
Think I can.
Okay, cool, Justin. Why don't you give it a try? So where do we start?
So we start at the thousandth place because that's the furthest right we can go.
Good.
So 9 minus 2 is 6. So we can put a 6 below that.
We're adding.
Oh, wait, no. I thought it was subtracting. Sorry.
Okay, you can make it. I bet you could make a quick pivot on the spot. What do you think?
Yeah. So 9 plus 2 is 11.
Thank you, sir.
So then we'll carry a 1 over to the next place, which is the hundredths.
Could you give me a because? We carry a 1 over because why?
Because we have 10 thousandths, and 10 thousandths is equal to 100th.
Yay! Great vocabulary. Thank you, sir. And I have 13 plus 6.
So 13 plus 6 is 19. So we put a 9 under there, and then we carry the 1 because we have an over 10 number.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay, what's next?
And then 12 plus 0 is 12.
Okay, what do I need?
So we put a 2 in the bottom, and we carry the 1 over again.
Can you tell me how I could go from 12/10 to carrying it over to 1 whole. Why does that work?
Because 10/10 or 10 times 10 equals 100. And if you put on a dollar amount, 100 pennies equals $1.
Mm-hmm.
And $1 is 1 whole.
Yes, exactly. Basically, this is 120 cents, right?
Yep.
Or $1.20. So that 12 dimes right there, right? We
Yep.
can't have 12 dimes in one place value. We're turning it into $1 and 2 dimes. Good, Justin. All right, what's next?
And then we now have 11 plus 9. So we can do that and that'll equal 20.
Okay, perfect.
So 20
Can you read it for us?
and 291 thousandths.
Beautiful. How many of you guys feel like you could have walked us through that one? You want to just unmute yourself and shout out real quick for me?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So hopefully we're getting to the point, and I know you guys are probably so sick of me asking why. Why is my favorite question for my students. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And my favorite answer is always because. So anytime we can explain that, it is a wonderful, beautiful thing. We are going to do just a quick practice with our friend Rick and a soccer ball. And then I'm going to let you guys go, okay? So Rick thinks the total cost of, this is a very expensive soccer ball. Rick thinks the total cost of an $89.95 soccer goal and a $9.99 soccer ball is $90.94. Write your estimate of the total cost and then write the exact cost. I want to hear from someone I haven't heard yet. If we want to estimate the cost of a soccer goal and estimate the cost of a soccer ball, what is that estimating asking us to do? What does the word estimate mean in this case?
In this case, estimating means rounding.
Thank you, Justin. It's rounding, right? And in this case, I would say anytime they're asking you to round, so it doesn't tell you. It doesn't say, write your estimate to the nearest whole dollar. It doesn't give you that explicit instruction.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that's your best guess. When you look at these costs, you know they're close to a whole dollar, right?
Yeah.
$89.95, $9.99. My hope would be that your lovely 10 and 11-year-old brains can look at those and round them right off the bat because they are so close to a whole number. It might not always be this friendly. Like you might get something like an $87.21 soccer goal. And that one you might have to look at it a few times to really get close. But man, $9.99, I mean, that's a penny away. So hopefully these are right off the bat. You look at it and your brain almost just automatically rounds it. So I want to hear from Mr. Asher. Mr. Asher, can you tell me $89.95, when you look at that, what does your brain just automatically round it to?
I can go.
Let's see if Asher's with us. 1 second. You there, Asher? Okay. Who else said I can go? Who was that?
Me.
Me. Okay, go ahead. So when you look at $89.95, what number comes to your mind immediately?
$90.
$90, right? I mean, that's just so close. We could look at that one and be like, all right, easily $90. And now when you look at that soccer ball, what comes to your mind right away?
$10.
$10. Cool. So our estimate, this should be really easy. $90 plus $10, what would that give us?
100.
Yeah, $100. So we're like, not exact, but we're obviously going to be super close because those numbers are both very, very close. So now I want someone to tell me, if I'm trying to do $89.95, what's the one thing I really have to remember when I'm adding them on top of each other? What's the most important thing when I'm adding decimals? Does anyone know? What if I put my $9.99 over here?
No,
No, why not?
because
What's the rule about where our decimals go?
hold on.
They want to stack on top of each other, right?
Yeah.
I'd say the most important thing when adding and subtracting decimals is you make sure that decimals are right on top of each other. Because otherwise, you're going to end up with your $9.99 becoming $99 or becoming a total of just 999 thousandths. So you want to make sure these decimals are right on top of each other. So I'm going to give you guys a quick second to find the exact cost, okay? Will you guys do me a favor? Whenever you're done, just give me a little holler so I know we're ready.
Done.
Thank you.
99 and 95 cents.
It's very close, isn't it?
I think.
And this is great practice for you guys because you know there are going to be a lot of times, and even as a kid, when you go to the store and you try to figure out how much something costs, and in your head you like have to quickly kind of run the math. This estimation skill is a really big real world problem. This is great. Who can walk us through how we would solve this? Someone I haven't heard from yet. Anybody? Who's feeling courageous on a Friday?
I will.
Who is it? Quinn?
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, take it away, man.
So what I first did was add 5 plus 9, and I
Mhm.
got 14. Then I carried my 1.
Can you give me a because? Why did you carry your 1?
Because I have 10 left over, and you carry your 1,
Mm-hmm.
and then 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19.
Mm-hmm.
Carry your 1 over to 9 plus 9, and then 9 plus 9 is 18 plus 9.
Oh,
Or
18 plus 1.
yeah, plus 1, so it's not 9 again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you carry a 1 over to the 8, and then the 8 becomes a 9.
Look at how close we were. $99.94. So close.
6 cents off.
I know. Like that was a great estimate, right? So now I want to hear from you guys, and I'll give you a quick second. And I want you to actually write this in your notebook. So Rick's estimate was $90.94. And the question is, was Rick's answer reasonable? Explain why or why not. So Rick estimated $90.94. The exact cost was $99.94. Do you think his answer was reasonable? Why or why not? And I want it to be something like, yes, it was reasonable because blah, 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 or no, it wasn't reasonable because blah, blah, blah. So I want to give everyone just a minute, okay? Write a few sentences in your notebook, see if you can use your vocabulary, use your rounding skills, place value, etc. So whenever we're ready, does anyone want to tell me if they think it's reasonable or not?
This answer is reasonable because 99.94 is close to the estimate of 100.
Oh, okay. But well, what about Rick's estimate though? $90.94. You think that one's reasonable?
No,
No, and why not?
Rick's answer is not reasonable because the real estimate is the right estimate is $100, but he must have rounded them, but did it in a weird way.
Yeah.
And he got 99.94. That's $10 off. That's not correct.
Okay. Anyone else have a thought? What do we guys think about Rick?
I think that, like, it is fairly reasonable. Like, he was at least close to the actual answer.
Mm-hmm. He's $10 off. The only thing that I wonder about this is he didn't round it to the nearest whole number, did he? Somewhere in this math process, he rounded down. The $89.95 rounds up to $90. $9.99 rounds up to $10. So somewhere in this process, it looks to me like Rick rounded down instead of up. So I don't know if I would say it's the most reasonable answer. He's not terribly far off. I would probably say no, it's not reasonable because he rounded down instead of rounding up. Or I might say something like Rick's answer wasn't reasonable because both of these were so close to a whole number, he should have just rounded to a whole number. But really, I mean, it's about defending your own answer in this case. I want to show you really quick what we have in Google Classroom, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So here is our, I gotta get rid of my annotation thing. Here we go. Quick 5th grade decimal rounding. You have a question, you have to find your place value, and then do you look to the right or the left? 2 of these, you have to tell me if you round up or round down. Round to the nearest whole number, round to the nearest 10th, round to the nearest 100th. Remember, always identify whatever place value is being asked. Select the decimals that round to 2, which number has a 7 in the 10th place. So this is the one I really want to focus on here. Round 95 and 87 thousandths to the nearest 10th. This is what we're just talking about. Explain how you would do this. Use multiple sentences to explain your thinking. First, I would blank, then hopefully you'll say, first, I find the 10th place. But kind of walk me through, like pretend that if someone didn't know how to round a number, step by step walk them through it, okay? I don't just want an answer of what 95 and 87 thousandths rounds to with the nearest 10th. I don't really, I mean, you gotta find the answer, but it's more so about explaining the process. And then this one, you have to figure out which lap was faster and how much faster. So again, this is a really great review for what's to come. If you guys need anything, you can always shoot me a Gmail and we can chat through it. But based on today, you guys are doing a really good job.